Well, hello, kindred spirits. It is Saturday, February 10th, and I can't believe February is not only already here, but we're entering the second week of February. Time's going too fast. And I wanted to share something with you that I now know, and I got a little bit of knowledge from my father-in-law one day when we were talking about it. And he gave me the best way for me to visualize why time goes faster the older we get. And he said, imagine a sand hour timer. And when you first turn it over, it's full, way up to the top. When it's wide, it's when you're young. And then as it starts to empty, and as it starts to go down to the middle, you're getting older and older. And you notice that the sand starts flowing faster and faster. And then when you get down to the end, super fast. But what he didn't say to me that I'm going to say to you is, at that point, it doesn't end. Something else is going to happen, and we're just going to flip that hour timer over again and start anew. And that's kind of what I think about with spring. Now, it's not here yet, but I'm already thinking about it. Today, we're having a very faux spring here in New England. We're going to be getting up to 60 degrees. And then in a few days, we're going to be going to very, very cold temperatures again. But that said, I have been really feeling spring coming. As soon as February comes, I allow it to happen. I don't fight it. I change flowers out in the house and I start thinking about spring projects. I have been buying things that have to do with flowers, and I thought I would share some of that with you today. And then I'm going to share a little bit later the next spring box. Actually, it's a spring and summer box. And I'm going to give you just a few little hints of what I have planned or what I have in store for what's inside of it. So I hope you enjoyed this week's video. I was very busy, but I did get to videotape just a few snippets here and there of while I was taking care of some very important things during the week, and also some fun and frivolous things during the week. So I hope you enjoy. As you can see, I did move the paperwhites out to the porch. Now, I know they can be kind of stinky, for lack of better pretty words, but in the past, they really haven't bothered me that much. I don't know if this is a different type of bulb, but I had them in the kitchen. And when they first started to bloom, I'm like, what is that smell? I thought it was some of the candles that I've been sampling for future purchase, or just something else in the kitchen. Nay, nay. It was my beautiful paperwhites. So this is just a small portion of what will be going inside of the spring into summer box. And my whole intention was to have boxes delivered to our new location. But I realized with the lead time to get items, how we're going to pack it, I still have boxes I need to order to put them in. I started having things coming here. And like I said, this is about half. We have about 11, possibly 12 items going in the box this time. So my UPS guy, the FedEx, mail person gets to come in and smell the paperwhites. But that's okay. These boxes will be moved hopefully in a week to week and a half. Our lease starts March 1st, but I got word that I might be able to get in just a little sooner to drop these boxes off. Well, hello again, kindred spirits. I thought I would chat with you while I'm making a floral arrangement. I don't even know which container. I'll probably use this particular one because it's one I picked up the other day. My favorite container broke, which has more of a wide opening. I thought I was going to like this taller one. I think it's only going to be good for things that are very tall, and I don't want them to open up a bit. But it's great for keeping things in water while I need to get ready to prep them. But I thought I would share some things today. Time. I just mentioned about how time seems to fly by, but we do need to make time for important things. Now, I am one to say I love to flitter about and do frivolous things, enjoy life, but living in the moment is one thing, but taking time for you is very important. And when I started out this year deciding to be selfish and taking care of me, I sat down and wrote out things that I've been putting off. One was scheduling my physical. I finally got that scheduled, I made it, I went to it, and now we're kind of getting some things in order from blood work. And I've already explained that, nothing major. And then I had my mammogram due. I was about 5 months past due, maybe 4. Well, I kept telling myself, I'm too busy, the weather's not right, I've got something else to do. I just said, wait, I need to be selfish. So this is something very important. I stopped everything I was doing, I made my appointment, and it was a day that it took minutes, in and out in minutes, and no stress whatsoever. So please, I don't want to preach, but if you haven't gone ever and it's time to, or if you've gone in the past and you're past due, please go for it, because it's just something we need to do for ourselves. And for the men watching, go for your screenings too. You know what I mean. So get that done. All right, so I decided I'm going to be making some flowers because after my appointment, I was in the area of Whole Foods, and I always love going to get some flowers there. Where I am, I have to drive quite a way to get flowers, and I'm like, well, I'm already here, so I decided to pick some up. And I was pleased to see that they had some irises. A lot were open, but I ended up grabbing a package that was closed. Most were closed. They're already opening, actually. I've had them here for 2 days. But a lot of them are still in their closed phase, so I get to enjoy watching them open. I also got some seeded eucalyptus. I love working with this foliage. When I used to work and do some weddings and special events and tea parties, I'll show you a photo shoot for something that I used this for. I used to use seeded eucalyptus a lot. It has a beautiful color green, it has a softness to it, but yet it's structured, and it just finishes off a lot of different arrangements nicely. And then I also got a pre-made arrangement with pussy willows in it, with their catkins. I was drawing a blank there. And we have some tulips in here and some hyacinth, and I'm gonna show you in a minute what kind of spurred me on with doing this little floral theme video for you today. And I hope you enjoy this because I'm kind of excited. So I'm going to start trimming the irises, and I'm going to put them in. I did bring this out, but I think I'm going to clean this particular one out. I'll break away for a moment, and I'm going to use this vessel instead. But I'm just going to add some water. Could I have done it at the faucet? Yes. But pouring water from a really pretty pitcher into another vase, that's that little touch of fine living that I like to do. This is a simple pleasure. Why not do that when you can? So I'm going to start with this arrangement, because if this is full enough, I won't add these. I'll put those in another room for my enjoyment. I'm going to start with the irises first. Let's see, I'm probably going to take off about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. And I'm going to cut these at an angle because I do want them to have as much space on the stem to draw in some water. And if there's that loose leaf, just take that off. So I always bring flowers into the home every season, actually. But when it comes to February, I start getting rid of the white flowers and I bring in a pop of color. But there's several other reasons I wanted to share this video with you today. One is the theme that I'm working on for the spring into summer box. Now this box will have a limited number because I was doing it kind of last minute, but the theme will be garden. And if you think of visiting a garden, going and enjoying a cup of tea, whether it's by yourself or with a friend, or sitting out on your porch, looking out in your garden, this is what that box is all about. And that is pretty much what is in those boxes. Spring, summer, garden party. or tea party. And some of the items are from New England and others are from some of the other vendors that I like to work with. Another reason I am really into the flowers right now is I've been plugging away at my publication that I'm working on, and I've been printing out photos of a lot of the spring and summer arrangements. I realized that so many of my photos have to do with flowers, plants, and nature. So that too was inspiring me. And I'm also going to show you some items I've been buying for myself and for crafting, and showing you some projects in the future. So what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to put them in, and I'm going to crisscross them a bit, kind of let them help each other hold themselves up. I might just go with keeping this simple, and I could even add some forsythia in here because the yellow in the iris, oh, I'm kind of liking that idea. I might add some of my forsythia. Okay. All right. And speaking of the spring into summer box, I'm looking here. I have a few little samples. The color theme that I'm going with for this year is, for at least this box, is going to be greens, whites, touch of black, some creams, and you'll see some pops of a little bit of purple, a little bit of yellow, but, oh, I'm teasing. Is that teasing? I think that's okay. I'm teasing everybody. But I had a lot of fun pulling this box together. But I like how there's two different colors, but now that I thought about putting the forsythia, I really like that idea. Let me go grab the vase of forsythia. If they haven't passed too much, it might work. I think that would be very pretty. I'm just going to give the stems a quick wash because they've been in here a while, and I just don't want to bring some of the grossness. Just seeing how the light catches. I'm not sure if you can see that from over there. So pretty. I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to add the forsythia to the irises. I'm just going to give them a little fresh cut, and I'm going to pop them in here. Just let them peek out. Oh, this guy. Some of them I think didn't reach the water enough, but we'll choose the good ones that are nice and healthy. It's not too late to force forsythia either. They're still tight and closed in my yard, and this only took 2.5 weeks for these to open. And you can do that with several other stems as well. Simple, just tucking them in and spacing them out. But I'm very pleased with that. Simple. I just got one sleeve of flowers and some forced forsythia from the yard. Speaking of forced, I wrote something in my journal this morning. I thought maybe I'll read it to you because another thing with the publication, I have decided, unless someone tells me otherwise, AKA my thought process, I believe I'm going to be sharing some of my journal entries throughout the several years that I've been journaling by month. So this video encompasses several different things that have to do with flowers. So let me share that with you right now. Okay, so I thought I would read this little journal entry to you, and it's a little choppy because I'm reading just something I quickly wrote this morning, and I thought it'd be fun just to share a little of my writing, which I think slowly some of it will go into this book that I'm working on. And I have no idea when that book's gonna come out, but it's further along than it ever has been, so I'm pleased with that. So I was sitting here and I'm writing. or getting ready to write, and I'm like, this is already February 10th. When did I last write? And I flipped the page, it was January 10th. So I wrote here, I just flipped to the previous page to see when my last entry was. January 10th, I have not sat with journal in hand for a month, and I have no good excuse other than I was focusing on work. That tells me I've been focusing on work too much, since my early mornings are meant to be for waking slowly, enjoying my first step outside, sitting by the kitchen fire while sipping my black coffee, and watch the eastern and southern sky change colors from black, which is peppered with stars, to shades of blue, purple, pink, and orange. It's so much more beautiful than staring at a computer screen with made-up colors. That said, I am blessed that I love what I do, and my home and work have somewhat collided, and when it comes to what relaxes me and brings me joy, that is working also. Mother Nature brings me joy by creating something beautiful, and in the same way, I hope what I create brings others joy. But here's the difference. Mother Nature works on a schedule. Other than a surprise weather change like today, we're expecting a faux spring with temperatures reaching almost 60. But she wakes and goes to sleep on a schedule and never rushes through her day. I realized last night that I took it upon myself to rush her and schedule her by forcing forsythia and paper whites to bloom before she had scheduled them. She already has what's going to be happening in her own virtual planner. Will I stop forcing bulbs and branches to bloom before my friend Mother Nature plans for them to bloom? No, it brings me pleasure and it brings no harm to others, especially the plants. I like to think they enjoy it actually. But what I will keep striving to do is live in the moment, whether that means staring at the morning sky with full intentions of doing absolutely nothing else, or it might be that I'm staring at my computer screen, but I'm going to make sure that I'm going to still look up and enjoy the ever-changing sky out my windows. Since I enjoy doing both, I am giving myself permission to do either, and I will still be living in the moment, but without guilt of thinking I should be doing the other. But I will make sure my journal and pen gets way more attention than my computer and keyboard. And that was my morning writing for today. Okay, so back to the flowers. I'm going to skip placing these in a container right now because I don't have, oops, this doesn't want to stand up. I don't have something in front of me that I want to put these in. I wonder how they would look in a teapot. Oh, speaking of teapot and tea kettle, thank you so much to the few of you. I am so appreciative of you sharing with me teapot versus tea kettle. Now, I now know the difference, but here's the thing. I was not raised calling it a tea kettle. As far as I know, I'm gonna have to ask my mom. I should just hold it up and say, what do you call this? I don't think I've ever called it a tea kettle, because just even saying the word kettle to me doesn't seem normal to my speech. That said, I know it's correct. So thank you for bringing that to my attention. A tea kettle, from what I've learned, and grateful I've learned it, a tea kettle is for heating the water on your stovetop. A teapot is when you're putting your tea in to steep. Kettle, heating up water, teapot, steeping your tea. Now I know. So one thing I wanted to just share before I look for a vessel, because I'm just looking at one of my teapots, it almost looks like it would fit. I've used it for other flowers, but this is kind of wide because with hyacinth, you don't want to cut the bottom off. You leave them just like that. So I'm just going to put that aside for now. I want to share a couple other things with you that I did purchase. The other day, while I was working on my book, was coming across my section on the peonies. And I started thinking about how can I have my peonies or a peony, kind of around me a lot more. So I started looking at molds. These are candle and food safe silicone molds. My plan is to make some candles here on the channel and just share with you. But I was kind of antsy to give it a try and see what they looked like in person. So I ended up using some white chocolate. Maybe I'll do it today on the channel. If not, we'll do it again later. But this is just some melted white chocolate I put in one of the smaller molds, and I thought how beautiful that would be on top of a cupcake. So I was excited how this worked out. I did find these on Amazon. And once again, if you do this, make sure it says food safe or food grade silicone, which is what these are. I actually ordered a couple more because waiting for this to dry, I was like, okay, let's go. I want to make another. And I didn't make another because, you know, my time got out of the way. Another thing I ordered, which I have not opened yet, just move this out of the way. I purchased myself a flower press. Now, many of you know I've been drawing and journaling about my flowers for years and sketching them, and I haven't done that for a while. I'm scolding myself about that. But I ended up finding this flower press also on Amazon. I haven't pulled it out to look at, but there's many times that I find a flower and I do want to press it. And I've given some flowers to my daughter to make jewelry with. She actually made this necklace using an iris petal such as this. But I thought I would love to start pressing some of the flowers that I put in the garden, and I could maybe sketch them at a later time. I mean, I've certainly pressed flowers in between the pages of books, but I've never had a press before. So it looks like I have here the screws to hold it tight, the flower press tutorial. Then there's some paper that you put the flower on, and then the cardboard for pressing. And then the wood. So it goes in between, and then you slowly crank down the little wing nuts, and that's how I'm going to be pressing my flowers. So I'm looking forward to doing this and seeing how it goes, and then possibly using them in something in the future. It could be an art. I could press some violets or pansies and use them on, once again, top of cupcakes. I must be craving cupcakes because I've said it twice already. But I'm looking forward to that. I actually was looking at smaller versions of this for the spring into summer box, but one reason I didn't include it there is I want these boxes to be helpful and be enjoyed by the majority of those who purchase all of our seasonal boxes. And I know that a lot of you would have been limited to going out and grabbing flowers to press. Or maybe not limited, but it wouldn't be as easy as me popping out the door. Some of you live in cities, some of you live in apartments. So I did opt not to put a smaller flower press in the box, but that's kind of how I came up with this. And then I just went to Amazon and bought myself one. So I like this, and I need to make sure I put it aside and don't forget where I put it, because that's what I would do. So this box looks like it has its own little carrying case. I could just put that in here, and I could probably just put this on the porch in my green hutch where I keep a lot of the gardening stuff. No, you know where I'm going to put this? With the craft items. I was telling Ben the other day, I'm very much looking forward to moving to my new location, which I guess I can segue into that quickly. I'm moving into a space that's about 900 square feet, and then it has a separate good-sized office, but this space is not going to be anything glamorous. It is just going to be a functional, fairly ugly space to start. I'm hoping being in a new space, it will help me with a schedule, just like the reading that I just did. You know, Mother Nature has a schedule. I should try to really stick with a schedule. I used to have that until I was not working full-time anymore, which this is now I'm working full-time, but I have the benefit of making my own hours, which is really nice. I don't know if you can see this. I'm gonna give you a little sneak peek. Everything in this spring into summer box has been inspired by all of the homes I've lived in, my gardens, things that I've enjoyed, and this little cloche represents the cloches that I've had out in my gardens and cloches that I have here around my house. But this is going to be a little sneak peek. I'm giving this secret away. This little cloche will be in the box. And just as a little starter, I have a little wood flower here. This is real wood. This is just a starter. I'm going to show you a few things that if you have around your house, you can use it seasonally for what you want or for other things. Let me go grab some of those items. So if you have little figurines, you might find they fit in there. I could also envision tiny little ceramic pumpkins, tiny little ceramic trees. I did even try a flower. Where did I put those? Well, I had little tiny flowers in a teeny tiny vase. It was just a little small, but you might have something better. I do have this little owl. When I was trying to figure out what can I show you, this little owl is made with pussy willow catkins, but I could do something like that. I know that's kind of silly. What I really wanted to find for you, or for this box, were smaller candles, but right away I couldn't find one. But this was the vision I had at first, was a little candle that afterwards you could cover it and you'd be all set. Now this candle I did find at Joann's Fabrics, and then also Yankee Candle has some of these, but they're in a box. But this is the one that I chose for my house because I liked the color green to go with the decor here. But there's another secret, just a minute. Okay, so regarding the gift boxes, for those of you who hung around to the end of the video, you're going to get the first bit of information that comes about with these gift boxes. This spring into summer gift box is a trial run for something that we're going to give a go. What we're going to try is a deposit to hold a box. And something happens or you change your mind, as long as that box has not already been put together for you and left our office, full refund, no questions asked. You know, this is not supposed to be a stressful situation. But if you enjoy knowing that that box is there reserved for you, this is the plan I'm hoping will work. I'm also hoping it will stop the frenzy in future boxes, because now we have a lot of a lead time for fall and winter, which I've already started purchasing and curating that box as well. So for future boxes, if this works, it'll give you an idea of how many people are interested in the box, and those that do reserve it will get a box. Now, I will have to come up with a number to stop the reservation of boxes because I just can't do 1,000 or 2,000. That said, I'm going to start with a certain number on inventory, and if I see that those go quickly, if we have time, I will reorder the items if my vendors have them. If they don't have everything, we might have the time to recreate a second box with a little tweaking. Now with the spring box, I am limited to a certain number, and when those go, they go. So that's when I say, go back and check. I do have some facts how this is going to work on our website. You can reserve a fall box, and you can reserve a Christmas/winter box. And here's the secret. As of right now, I have loaded on my website the ability to order or try to order the spring into summer box. Then you can also, if you miss out on that or you have the time or the inkling to do so, you can reserve a fall box, and you can reserve a Christmas/winter box. I feel like that's been a long-winded explanation of what's going to be happening. And that's why I wanted to do Work Wednesdays, but I haven't had time to do a Work Wednesday. So that's where we are. So I hope if you're still with me, maybe it means that you weren't interested in the spring and summer box. That's fine. I want to thank you for being here until the end, but you were off visiting the website. Thank you so much. I hope you got the box, and I will see you next week with another secret of what I will be carrying or who I will be carrying as a brand in our box. It's a nationally known brand made here in New England, and I'm going to take you on a trip tomorrow, but I'm not going to say where yet. We'll talk later. Bye now.